Teardown! Developed by two very skilled individuals who've basically successfully recreated the world of Minecraft, but a few thousand years from now, where civilization has evolved dramatically and people have proper nice houses and rob each other and shit. Teardown is a first-person voxel-based heist game set in a totally destructible world. Plan the perfect heist using creative problem-solving, brute force, and pretty much everything around you. The fully destructible and truly interactive environment gives the player amazing freedom from the emergent gameplay, which is the primary mechanic and biggest selling point of the game. First of all, this is a PC-only title, with sadly no plans for console just yet. It's in early access, selling at just under $20 or £20 on Steam, and it's worth mentioning that price will not be changing when the game's fully released. We've got the first part of the campaign to experience here, which is a reasonable amount to get through with just over 20 missions to play. There's a challenge mode and a sandbox mode just to piss about in, but the fun really lies in the missions. We take the reins of a guy who owns a demolition company. His mum is whinging about not being able to afford her utility bills and she won't shut up about it. You're just like, God, put a sock in it, mum. How about I just go out and illegally demolish a house for you? Will that make you happy? No? God! Okay, fine. I'll go and rob some incriminating information from the local chemical plant to sell to the popos instead. Is that more to your liking, your fucking majesty? Things obviously spiral out of control and we end up delving deeper and deeper into the criminal underworld, receiving email after email from dodgier and dodgier characters offering us jobs to complete. So, how does it work? At first I thought there was some horrific anti-aliasing issues, but nope, it's voxel, baby! Never been a fan in all honesty, but I've got to say there's an actual element of realism to this game. There's even ray tracing, which really helps giving the lighting and reflections in the water a decent pop. It looks really nice and crisp. Playing with high settings and above 1440p, sadly, it runs like wading through a deep pit of cow shit. Playing in 1080 isn't the end of the world, but even then there's some pretty drastic drops in the frame rate, especially when colliding with something at high speeds. I found the sweet spot for me was at 1440p with medium settings, and this was with a 2080 Super and an i9. I had some unfortunately ironic screen tearing in a game called Teardown, and some of the assets just stutter in motion. The devs recommended playing at 60Hz to alleviate some of these issues, which did help, and hopefully we'll see the game pushed harder towards higher refresh rates during this early access period. I never knew how much strain is put on the GPU and CPU using a voxel-based graphics engine. Still, it's totally playable and looks fantastic. Now, into the meat of it. It's such a quirky and unique idea, and further strengthening my belief that 2021 is the year for the indie games to set an example for the bigger devs. At first, the missions are simple enough. We start off in a small free-to-explore map with some miscellaneous valuables to tickle your fancy, as well as optional targets and, of course, the main targets. Whether it's steal this, destroy this, or dump this in the ocean, you need to get creative and there's 1,000,001 ways to achieve your goals. That's the real beauty of Teardown. A convenient quick save option gives us the chance to really express ourselves and come up with some elaborate plan, and more often than not, Plan A will absolutely fail. And so will Plan B, and so will Plan C.
Yours wedged into?
I'm completely wedged in.
Oh, we can't even get anything past the surface of this thing. It's
Yeah, there's like a hard surface past the thin surface.
concrete or brick or
I was
something behind.
envisioning this being a lot easier than it's turning out to be. You know what I mean? It's nothing.
Use the blowtorch.
Great, it's
No,
time.
hang on a second.
It's through trial and error that you eventually achieve your goal, and when you pull it off, it leaves you feeling like a fucking genius criminal mastermind. It's so much fun. We're given a variety of tools to exact our plans, such as a trusty sledgehammer, and it seems we actually go to bed with it because our playable protagonist must be a very specific type of keen DIY weirdo because he tends to wake up with the sledgehammer in his hands. We're given a spray can to mark our escape route, but really, come on. We know why the devs actually gave us a spray can, so we can leave incriminating messages behind or draw giant penises all over the place. We're also given a blowtorch, a fire extinguisher, and all the necessary things to help keep a low profile and preserve the art of subtlety, like a shotgun, some pipe bombs, and of course a rocket launcher. These weapons are merely just upgraded versions of the other tools for destruction. The maps have no other NPCs roaming about for you to pop off on or blow limb from limb, at least not just yet. Hopefully we'll get to see the threat of guards or higher levels of security as the game develops further. One last thing I've got to touch on is the driving. It's unbelievably fun, and the audio behind the vehicles is some of the most realistic sounds I've ever heard in a game. I did get stuck a lot, but that's mostly down to some shoddy driving on my part, but there were still some times where I'd be inexplicably stuck on a single voxel piece, which was a bit of a pain in the dick, to be honest. Also, the game becomes a little bit repetitive towards the second half of the 20 missions, and like I said, I think the addition of some even harder levels of security to crack will probably fix that. The game is a strenuous one to run too, but the main thing is that it runs at a high enough level to still look brilliant and perform at 60 frames per second. So overall, I would say yes, Teardown is totally worth your time, and I'm really excited to see where the devs go with this, because there's room for improvement on a game that already has the foundations of being a must-have in everyone's Steam library. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and bulldoze your way over that subscribe button. Let us know if you played the early access version of Teardown and what you like, what you didn't like, and what features you want to see added to the full release. Catch you in the next one. Peace out, peeps!